Alright, hello and welcome back to Singer Family Adventures. We are here with a bug adventure. If you've never seen our channel before, I'm Valerie, this is Rafi, and this is our mystery guest slash host for the day.
Hello.
We will call him Captain Bug.
Captain Bug. That works.
Right? Because you got a Captain America hat on?
Oh, yeah.
So Captain Bug has just started a new wonderful channel called Inquisitive Inverts. That's all about invertebrates and various bugs.
Right?
And so he is going to teach us about some lovely specimens that he caught probably somewhere in this forest here behind us. Right?
I have, yes.
Anything to add? So, real quick, I'll tell you, we're usually a Disney channel. We do about 70% Disney stuff, 10% animals, and 20% other family fun like this. So we'd love it if you wanted to subscribe. We hope you will go check out and support Inquisitive Inverts, linking the channel here that they just started. And
Go subscribe to him.
go subscribe to him. Pause, go check him out, subscribe, come back and watch the rest of our bug video. Okay?
All right. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So I'm here to talk about, for those viewers, just a quick introduction. I'm here to talk about invertebrates, animals without a backbone and usually no bones whatsoever. And so I have some native invertebrates for you guys here. So let's get into our first one. Now, you guys have probably seen these before. These are roly-polies, or just isopods. Now, interesting behavior. You see them rolling on their backs like that. They do that. It's a weird behavior, but they actually do that on purpose.
Can you get a close-up? They do it on purpose? They get stuck on their backs on purpose?
They like to roll over, particularly in this season, for reasons I will never understand, but they do that. I looked it up, and they are strange, but sometimes, if you think about it, mighty creatures. They're very crucial to the surviving of an ecosystem. They're detritus feeders, which means they eat completely dead stuff. Dead plants, sticks, and stuff.
Does that sound good?
No.
No? Doesn't sound...
Gross.
Sounds gross? Well, when you eat a hamburger, what do you think it is?
I don't know. Cow?
Cow, but it's not alive. It's dead stuff.
Correct.
Yeah.
So these are completely fine. In fact, if you guys want to pick one up, they will not hurt you. These are mostly common pill bugs, but some of them
Give me your hand.
are other different species. You might notice some have a brown tint, some have a darker gray, and I think there's one in there that has a slightly bluer tint. And those are strange animals.
Think about them.
So these are fascinating little guys, and you've probably seen them quite a lot in the past. Anyone that's flipped over a rock or a log has probably seen these. A not so common fact known that we covered in one of the videos on our channel is that these are actually scientifically known as isopods. Now, isopods are given these terrestrial ones, but also in the same family, there are some giant ocean isopods, which are interesting. They can get to lengths of 2+ feet long, and they basically look like this, but much scarier and pink. It's very strange.
Wow.
But yeah, fascinating little critters, and good for our level 1. Y'all about ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah, and we're moving it up in levels in terms of like the creepiness, right? From
Of
one
course.
to...
Yeah.
Okay.
So pill bugs and roly-polies are the same thing?
Yeah.
Because I remember calling them both when I was a kid.
They're called by many names. They are pill bugs, potato bugs, roly-polies, all sorts of things.
Okay.
Now our next invertebrate is the only one on this list that is not creepy crawly. It is creepy slimy. These are mollusks, slugs and snails.
Slugs
What
and
a joy.
snails.
Gross.
Still, nothing that can hurt you. In fact, there's one slug on the top here that I am going to free handle. But if you guys look down, that's funny. They actually all climb to the top of the container.
Ew.
Ew, that's gross.
Probably the most gross of all the things on this list. If you turn the lid over, there's one more slugs, so don't put your finger under there if you don't want to get slimed.
Oh, he must have crawled out the hole.
They do. In fact, that's why I kept them with the cover over their covers, so they could still get ventilation. But they need to have some sort of a protection so they won't crawl out of an enclosure.
So can they squish their bodies just like an octopus? Like
They can.
Squish it into
They can go through the smallest of little spaces and the largest. It all depends on, whether they got a lid or not. And there are a not so well-known fact about these guys is that they are actually related to octopus.
What?
Yeah,
Seriously?
I'm not kidding.
Slugs and octopi are related?
Octopods. Yes, they actually are. These creatures they're all known as mollusca. And they are,
Should we
quite
take it to the
interesting.
camera? Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm trying to do.
Pause.
Okay, here we go.
So yeah, these little guys are interesting. They're related to octopus and squid as well as a whole host of other animals. But they're all known as, a lot of people affectionately call them the slimy ones. That's exactly what they are, and they can all relatively shape themselves to go in and out of spaces. There's a lot in the, I find these particularly interesting. There's a lot in the forest world, the world around us, that we don't even know about. Slugs are a perfect example of this. I mean, people will see them, and yeah, even I'll admit they are kind of gross. But they're wonderful, actually. Just like isopods, they're detritus feeders. They eat rotting dead stuff. And they're very crucial to the survival of a particular environment. So, again, a fascinating creature.
Are we rolling? So I had no idea that slugs, snails, and octopuses were related. I'm going to think about that every time I see a slug from now on. Right? Okay, what's next?
Well, if you didn't like that one, you probably won't like this one.
Captain Bug.
These, again, are not insects, surprisingly. These are what's known as myriapods, otherwise known as centipedes and millipedes. These are millipedes, and luckily we have face masks on, but if you didn't, you would notice that there is a smell coming from these guys. They put off a musk, which, when they're
Here,
stressed
take a
out, they got stressed from capturement, and so...
You smell it? Do you smell it? Kind of. Oh. I think I smell it.
It has a strange stench. These are interesting.
Not Corona.
These are interesting. Millipedes, which are what these are, and centipedes are both always looked at as sort of creepy crawly creatures that could potentially hurt you. Not a not well-known fact is that these guys are actually, millipedes are harmless. They cannot do anything to you.
As opposed to centipedes?
Centipedes can seriously hurt you.
Uh-huh.
Which is why, though I have captured them in the past, I did not bring one today.
How can you tell a millipede from a centipede if you're just a normal person?
There
I mean, you're
are
not
a
gonna
few...
count, right?
Yeah, really. So there are a few red flags for a centipede as opposed to a millipede. Centipedes have one leg per body segment, which is not so obvious until you realize that centipedes get a lot bigger than millipedes. And it's very obvious that they have several less legs than these bajillions. These have anywhere from 200 to 300 legs, depending on the species. But some can even have more, but that's the most common of all. And another thing with centipedes is that they have large antennae both on their heads and on their backs.
The centipedes do.
Yes, millipedes do not. Some millipedes have antennae on the head, but not on the back.
Yeah, these have an antenna on their heads.
They do.
The little antenna?
But a lot of times people think that it's actually fangs on the back of a centipede, but they're just large antennae.
Do they walk in both directions, or?
They can, but they almost always will only walk forwards.
Okay.
Just because that's They have sensory organs on the back, but that's specifically for hunting.
Okay.
And centipedes, watching a centipede eat is not fun. They have, that's the third red marker that will tell you it's a centipede. They have gigantic fangs.
I wish I never heard that. I'm going to have a lot of memories of that.
Oh, boy.
A lot of memories. You can't see my fangs. When I was in Brazil, on the Brazilian Sertão, which is this very dry ecosystem, they had centipedes that were like this big that could kill you if they bit you.
Yep.
And
That's
just the
about right.
fact of that was so terrifying to me. I remember seeing them, and I was walking like in flip-flops somewhere and seeing them on the ground and being like, ah! Does that sound fun? Should we go back to Brazil and
No.
go catch some bugs?
No.
Bring them here to our friend Captain Bug?
If you did, I will cry. I will cry myself to sleep.
You'll cry yourself to sleep. Guess what? We can't go to Brazil right now anyway, so.
I'd love to go, but there's one area closer to us that's actually scarier in the myriapod factor.
Where's that?
Arizona.
Yeah.
Arizona is the home to an enormous, one of the world's largest species of centipede, I believe the second largest. It's called the giant desert centipede. And when I say second largest, don't take my words lightly. It gets about that big.
Wow. Can we find a picture and put it in here if we can find a picture?
We can.
A giant desert centipede.
Right there. All right. I will, y'all want to get a close-up shot of it?
Should we? Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
sure.
do a close up.
They are absolutely massive. I looked it up.
Yeah, they're huge. In fact, there's a viral video of a man handling one, just letting it crawl on him,
Mm-mm.
which is stupid because
okay.
it will bite you and severely hurt you.
Nope.
Okay, so what were you saying, Ralphie? There was one person who got bit?
So, this was a while ago, and it was not that long ago, and I was watching like people getting bit by like a lot of venomous animals, and some guy got bit with one of these. So yeah.
One of these
Famous,
giants?
famous YouTuber. His name is Coyote Peterson.
Yep. That's
I got to see him live one time, and he has gotten stung by the most painful non-lethal sting in the world. That's a species called the executioner wasp. But he did get bitten by a giant desert centipede completely purposefully.
screaming in pain.
And he did. He fell over on the ground and screamed in pain.
It
But
can kill you?
the giant desert centipede, not unless you've got an allergy to it, but it will hurt for a very extended period of time.
Yeah, no thanks. I prefer Disney.
Well, these little guys are harmless, the little millipedes. They couldn't hurt a fly, literally. Again, a detritus feeder. Our next two are not so much in that category, so be prepared for those guys.
Okay.
It's starting to smell over here.
Yep, that's about right.
Good for you.
Alright.
Captain Bug's mother made some of our Disney masks. She's a good friend of mine. Okay, Captain Bug. Now
Yes.
what?
Alright. Now these are a familiar sight. Level 4 of our bug challenge is fire ants. Not just any fire ants, giant fire ants.
We're in Georgia, Atlanta, if you didn't know that. Atlanta area. These are real. Fire ants, no fun.
No, they will bite you. I won't take these out. No free handling for this guy, but they don't hurt enormously bad. Just a bit of irritation. However, stepping in a nest of these is not a good idea, ever.
Two of them. Jonah had a story when we first got to Atlanta, and the neighbor next door had a giant tree in their yard, and the giant tree was like surrounded by probably 3 feet of pine straw. And
That's about right.
he went running into it to play. He was just over 2 and 3 months or something. He comes running out screaming bloody murder, and there are red ants all over him, and I had to like strip him down in the front yard. And you know, you were bad. You must have gotten like 50 bites. It was
1 or 2 bites isn't gonna hurt you, but I too have stepped in an ant nest, unfortunately wearing shorts at that point. It's not fun. The giant ones don't hurt anymore. They just look more menacing.
than the smaller ones. They don't
Correct. Yeah.
Are they the same species, just different size, or they do
They
two
are.
species?
They're the same
Okay.
species. Ants actually have subclasses just like bees do. So I think these are warriors. I'll have to double check my information on that because there are a few that get large. But I believe that these are warriors.
They're the Avengers of the ant world.
Exactly.
What do you
Alright.
think?
You wanna bring
should
it
we
over?
coat them in chocolate and eat them?
That is a thing people do.
What are you going to do with all these when we're done?
I'll release them. It's going to be a great experience. They all are. It's pretty fun to watch them just go back into their natural habitat.
Ready to go.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
What's level 5?
All right. Level 5.
Do we want to not bring that over and
Oh, should we do that? No, we'll get a level 5. It's all right. These are just ants. I mean, people know that. Level 5. The only one remotely scary to me.
Scary to you.
Scary to me.
Okay.
No, I mean, like, if there were a scare factor of all of these, this would be the scariest. And that is because they are spiders. Level 5, the last level. These are orb weaver spiders. Not a painful animal.
What kind of spiders?
Orb weaver. They get about as pretty as you can get a spider in Georgia. And there are actually 2 different species of orb weaver in here. If you look very closely, you'll see on this corner there's a tiny little guy. In that upper corner, there's a larger one. And then look on the bottom of the stick for a real fun.
Oh.
That's, yeah, he's big. The one on the stick's big. He's hanging right there. You see him?
Mm-hmm.
And there's that one. Ooh, yeah. And then there's the little guy. Ooh, where's he going?
Somewhere.
Now, none of these are venomous.
Not at all.
Not like, I mean, we do
Well, I
have
mean,
black
all
widows around
spiders,
here.
all spiders are venomous, but these can't hurt you. The most that the largest one. This is the long-jawed orb weaver. I can't exactly determine the species of the other 2. There are very many that look like them. But the last one, the long-jawed orb weaver, does bite. It is a very rare bite. For some reason, they are almost never provoked. I'm completely comfortable handling them. But if it does bite, it's not going to hurt more than the fire ant at all.
Okay.
Not a painful bite at all, and in fact, they're very misunderstood. People will often see spiders, and I'm sure a lot of people are guilty of this, but people will often see spiders and just think that they're terrible creatures, that they can hurt, but they are actually probably the most beneficial of all of the creatures we have here today. They eat the pests. The long-jawed orb weaver in particular, it's large enough to kill and eat any invasive species. And Georgia in the past has had problems with invasive species of animal, particularly insects. And so one of the many spiders that are able to keep the balance are orb weavers. Fascinating little guys. You want to get a close-up shot?
Yeah, let's do a close-up. And let's try to get all of them.
So, spiders are actually super misunderstood. Like I've said before, they're super beneficial to crops. People will see a spider on their tomato plants and such and freak out. But what it's most likely doing there is eating things like flies and other creatures that will take your crops apart. And these are just a very unique creature, very misunderstood as well. I have not brought our native area's largest spider, not even close to it. Even the largest species in this container itself, the long-jawed orb weaver, I have caught specimens that are double its size. This is a juvenile. But I also happen to temporarily keep a wolf spider. Anyone that doesn't know what that is, they kind of look like mini tarantulas. And that species will legitimately hurt if it bites you.
Is that the one that hangs the beautiful webs between the bushes?
Those are actually orb weavers, what I've got here. You've probably seen them larger. If there's a large spider on one of those beautiful webs, it's because these are not full-sized.
Okay.
One of the species in here, the smaller species, is in fact full-sized for its particular kind, but the long jaws and some other orb weavers get enormous. Likely about the size of the palm of my hand. Not my fingers included, but leg span can get pretty large. But yeah, very cool and very misunderstood creature. And the last on our list of bugs today.
Cool.
Woohoo! Yeah, so we want to thank Captain Bug for all of this information, right?
Mhm.
What did you think was the coolest thing?
Spiders.
The spiders.
That's the
Spiders
only
are
thing I
great.
liked.
That was the only thing you liked?
Yeah, everything can get pretty creepy crawly.
I'm like still amazed and a little freaked out that slugs and octopuses are related, octopi. So that was the most interesting thing to me. But we're going to release some of these little guys now. We're going to do it on camera so you can see Captain Bug sending them back into the woods. And we just want to say thanks so much for watching. Please make sure to go check out his channel. And if you are not subbed to ours, please do that. If you're interested, we'd love to hear your comments below. We'd love you to like, do all that good stuff. Please do the same for him. And please go spread a little kindness, not germs. Be kind to bugs.
Yep.
Alright, guys. Be free, spiders. Being stubborn. Alright, there we go.
Can I have
Oh,
a
there.
mask for just a second? Yes.
Alright, good.
Cool.
The others I'll just release off camera.